Zwi's nog here tonight?
He didn't say, was it coming?
Right, so we're holding on item. We have to say what is the what's the Maramochin we're holding. So it's today is the test for Sivan, right?
Yes.
Test for Sivan. Toshin some test. Shiur בהמשך תופריש עין בייס, חלק א'. מים היבו המסחיל המחס אני מאברהם, תופריש עין ד'. And it's on Omud Tov Nun Tes. So we're in we're already into Os Reish Kof Zay. And we saw that the Mamutza between the Nishomas and Atzma Saint Tzei, and Beklal, the Mamutza between the Nivroim and Ein Tzei, was the Inen of Chochma Stimor. And we saw that the Mamutza from Chochma Stimor was that it was two Tzadim of it in one Inen, and that was the Teretz on the Inen we asked originally. And we saw that Chochma Stimor was Pnimius Abahu, Pnimius Atik. That Pnimius Atik was Mamish Nimta b'Chochma Stimor, Mislavish Mamish in Chochma Stimor. However, the Inen from Chochma Stimor had in itself a Helem Atzmi, Lekabi Lamata, that Helem Atzmi was a Chio Belvad, not a Lavush. And we saw that was connected with the Inen from what Chochma Stimor is a Mokeh to Chitenius a Chochma. And we saw that Lavush causes the Emes Helem Atzmi of Pnimis Atik to be in a state of stima. The Helem, however, we saw it was only a Chio, but not a Lavush Amali. It was only a Chio Musuyam in Chochma Stimor Atzmei. Now the day that the Aveda at the Nevoim Lamata, or the Odom, meaning Atem Kruyim Odom, or the day the Aveda for the Nishomis Lamata, so they can come through the dealing with that Lavush, which is not a Lavush, it's only a Tzio Atzmi, which appears to them. They can then come to the Pnimis V'Atzmiyas of Atik, which is in the kilo behind the Tzio, or is in effect the Tzio Mamish. They say that they can be Mischaber with Atzmiyas Ein Tzei, which is Pnimis Atik, and it's all in the same Inyan. It's not different madrigas, which are the questions: how do they be Mischaber so? But this is in Chochma Stimor Atzmei, the two Inyanim. And we saw that was the two Einayim, we're going to get to Liosi. It's written that Ayin Ba'ayin Yiru, and we saw that those Beis Einayim that will be united, and there will be Mischaber Liosi. They were the two Oifani Aveda in the Mutza. One was with the Helem that appears to the Makablim, to the Neshama Saraya Later, and that's what we saw was the Helem of the Nefesh Abamiyas and the Guf. However, the Nefesh Abamiyas and the Guf are able to come to Re'iyah, we saw in the Union of Hasogas Hamachias, which is the only type of Hasoga which is really Shaykh Esato in Elakus Poilam Hazeh. They can be Masik of that Hasoga in a even from Ria Hushias. In other words, that they see the Union of Elakus and how it's Mavadi Elam Ayin Liyesh, Another inyan that we saw that the mensch can actually observe in Elikus, and we saw that that's an inyan from Riyah Chushias Mamish, that the Mamish sees the inyan from these inyanim Riyah Chushias, but that Riyah is not Riyah in the Mahus Elikus, that's only a Riyah in what he understands is really the biur of those inyanim that he sees. So the biur behind those inyanim is the inyan from the Asogas Matthias. But he's able to come to a conviction and a devekis in those inyanim as if he sees them, because they become so obvious in the olam through the inyan of observing them, as it were, v'poyel in the olam, and that's called Riyah Chushiyas in the inyan of the Asogas HaMatzias. And so we saw that Riyah Chushiyas in the Asogas HaMatzias, but that's one side of the Mamutza, as it were, as one Ayin, and that causes a bittul of that helem that there is mitzad the Ein v'chochmas timur, or the helem the steamer, the infant steamius, the helem, the already is a gashmistic world. So it depends how you look at it. If you look at it in the right way, then you don't see just a gashmistic world, or you see just different heichachas, different proofs or different illustrations of Elikus. So you don't see the Elikus, but you see the inyanim ad kedekah, and they are poil on the nefesh habamis and the guf, a tremendous ispilus, as if it were inyan shel re'iyah mam. Mamir, that's the tzad arishan, that's the first ayin, and then we saw there was the other ayin. They said what you might call we saw the inyan of the egos of the nefesh habamis, the heavy skin around the nefesh lakis over the nefesh habamis becomes broken, because he sees Beria Saguf or Beria Chushiyas inyanim, which indicate to him Elikus, and they tell him about Elikus, and therefore he is no longer Mailim or Master on the nefesh Elakis. And the truth of the matter, how did he come to all those inyanim? Because the nefesh Elakis went out of its way to show them to him. We saw that was inyan in Ato Horeisa Lo Das, or the inyan the Aveda, the nefesh Elakis. Lamata was to show the nefesh habamis all these inyanim. Alidei, that she achieves that uftu in nefesh habamis, then the helem of the nefesh habamis aleho, is literally the skin of the shell of the knot is then broken, and the nefesh Elakis is able to come to her own avodah mitzad atzmai, which is Riyas Hamahus in Ela, Riyas Hamahus Mamish in Elikus. That's the avodah of the nefesh Elakis. That's what she had Lamaila in Gan Eden. So we asked the Shaila, what does she have down here that's different? So we saw that in Gan Eden it was only in Gimel Rishonos. Bilvad, it was only in the Indian one, adequate Giluim Bilvad, the Indian for Atzilas, how it's Meya in Bria, well, that's the Indian for Gan Eden. And therefore the Asoga was a Asoga of Ria's Hamahus, however it shied the Indian for Ria, and however much it shied the Indian for Hus in Gan Eden. Of a Khan Lamata, we saw that the neshama comes to Amitius Avidosa in the inyan from Riyas Hamahus in Atzma Sein Seif Mamish, in Elikus, how he is not just Giluim in Gan Eden, but Etzem Elikus Lamaila Meish Oilamas, how it's Meya Lamata, and that's the other tzad of the Mamutza Kaviyohu, as she comes to the inyan from Pnimius Atik, or that for all intents and purposes, even betchina taktoina shabamaitzo, that's the din vanat. Therefore, the nefesh Elakis is zeicha to a Riyah Mahusis. However, we saw that with all the milas shivas there, it's not mamish din from Riyah Mahus in the sense of Riyah Gashmiyas and Riyah Zainayim Agashmiyim, Riyah Hamahus Hagashmiyas, but it's Riyah Ayin ha seichel in azarif, and we just mamish Riyah hama ki'ilu. This is Riyah Hamahus, and we saw that was the dogma of the Arizal was brought down in Lakut Terem in Parshat Tzav, where the Alter Rebbe Masbid, the famous sleep Kaviocha that the Rizal was having on Shabbos Parsha Borat Bilam, he was really being Makabel Ayin of Gilei Lakus, but even show Re'io Mamish Me'ain how it's going to be Li Osid, or not Mamish Li Osid. And then we saw in this case, Reish Kov Zayin, we saw here that the Rebbe was Machadish that Li Osid, it will be Ayin from Ria Chushiyas, Mamish Ria Gufniyas, Ria Mitzad the Guf, and the Nefesh Abamiyas, that since they will then be Makabel from their Shoresh Bagolu, the Inyan from their Asayib Kolalmi. And therefore the Guf will be able to see the Inyan from Rias Amahus, Elakus, but Ria Chushiyas, Mamish. And so we went on to say that there was a Maire in the Inyan from Ria Chushiyas, Legabi, the Inyan from Rias Einha Aseichol. That even though the Inyan from Rias Einha Aseichol, they avoided the Nefesh Alakis, of a Ria Chushiyas, Mamish is Odlam. And she will be zeicher to that Liosid because she was Mavara Ato Horeiso. She was Mavara Mazachik. The Nefesh Abamish till he came to his Inyan of Ria Chushis in the Asogas Tziyah. And then that gave into the Nefesh Alakis, Ayin for Ria Mahusis in Atzma saying safe, or not Mamish Ria Chushiyas. And then Liosid, the Guf and the Nefesh Abamish, they will be pearl in the Nefesh Alakis, as it was. She will be Makabel from them, the Inyan for Ria Chushiyas Mamish in Elokut. The Mamish Ria Bechush Agufni V'Hagashmi in Elokus. And so we see that the Chiddush Nifla that we learn here is that Liosid, the Guf will be, the Neshama will be Makabel from the Guf. In other words, we have to say that because the Guf and the Nefesh Abamiyas were shown by the Nefesh Alakis, originally the whole Inyan for Ria Chushis in Al Kaponim and Asogas HaMatziyas, and that was poured into the Nefesh Alakis, a Gila of her Ria Mahusias, how much she tried to have Ruah Mahusias, Yebezeho Ilam. So then Liosid, it works in that way over in a different Eifan, that then the Guf is zeicher to the Gilui of his emes Shoresh with the Inyan for Tzayivim, and that's then poil in him that he actually sees that of course Mamish, Boria Eishazat Sloi, the Hainu Ria Gashmis for Chushiyas Kipshuta, in Mahus Elokut. That it will be that's then translated back, as you might say, into the Neshama, and the Neshama has Ria Chushiyas Mamish in Elokus, and that will be the Seder how it is be a Moisama HaMoshiach. That's where we were. That's where we were holding in the mind.
It seems like,
and so we saw that.
It seems like the Iker Inyan of Re'iyah, the Iker Inyan in Re'iyah of Elokus,
Ria
explains in Perek Mem Beit the Dugma is Kemoshu Yodeh Datzmo. It's not in Re'iyah Chushit. It's a Inyan of Yediyah Datzmo. It says
this is Mitzad the Eibush. Here we're talking Mitzad the Neshamas. Yediyah Datzmo is not the Eibush. That's another thing. He's talking about the Inyan von Hashgacha Protiyas and the Yediyah Datzmo in the Eibush knows about the Nevroim, not in an Eivan of Yediyah how it is by Nevroim. I was talking about another thing. The scene of Yediyah Datzmo in what's going on, Kabel and Yuvel. Here we're talking about the Neshamas. They will come to know Atzma Seitzei.
I don't
understand what's the Shailim, what's the Kasha from the...
It's written in the Atid, it says, Meleodes Dea Techem. Bechora, that's Dea Dugma, Dea Chelamayla. It's higher than Re'iyah Chushit. It's Dea Atzmi.
No, I can't quite follow what it is that you're... in Chassidus, we always have to be careful to talk on the, on the inner we're talking about. Over there, that's another Shaila. How is it the cloud of Shaila that we say that the Eibusher knows about the that he knows what's happening in the world? The Chiddush of Chassidus says that he knows about a Polishum Hevdol B'Yatzmusei. He knows everything that's happening. It's a Gamera that arouses the whole Shaila. How can we have Bechira? How can we told us in Over here we're talking inside the inyan of the Avodah, that they are already Nivroim. And that's all been, as it were, in inverted commas, settled. But they are Nivroim, they are serving Him, and they are, is what Mitzad Atzmus, it's always a question, how can that be? We're saying that there are different oifanim, how it will be in the iskashas of how the neshama and the guf were, as it were, lamata, and they're going to find their way to the atzmus, aliyosid lovi, that'll reach its shleimus, if it'll reach a inyan, that they will experience that initial real chushi is. And over there in Perik Beis and another Mekayim says, he's talking about the inyan, how it is mitzad atzmus. How does he know about the Nivroim? How does he have any reference? And wie ze geht the Indian Hashkocha? It's like two different ends of the moment, or two different ends of the Indian. Okay, so Al Chaponim says the Rebbe that that's the Indian that Liosi will be Miskale the Indian from Pnimis ve'atzmi is ein safe, and that will be an even of Ria Hushias mitzad the guf and the nefesh ba'amiyas, and that will be peil the neshama the inyan from Ria Mavusiyas mamish. So I think that's where we were holding, and I think we're holding v'zeu shalidei mamutza the chok mistimo dafke boim anishomas v'chein anei tzolin v'chinas alyein shebemamutza. I think that's where we're holding. I think that we got that far. So we got that far. Yeah, that's what he says. That the neshama will be makabel the inyan from Ria Chushiyas, as it were, from the guf and the nefesh ba'amiyas. But anyway, she's had the inyan from Ria in Mahus the whole time. But that's a Ria of Ayin Haseichel. If it's not mamish Ria, not mamish Ria Chushiyas. That type of pilas or that type of iskashas that comes with some Ria Chushiyas mamish, well, that's a chiddush legabi the neshama. Ain't the neshama. She has the inyan from Ria Mahusis. It's like we explained in the words of Alter Rebbe over there in Pasha Tal. But he says it's a re'iyah, but it's a re'iyah which is sofkos of the inyan for Ria's Ayin Haseichel. And what will be the chiddush of the Yosid is that the guf and the nefesh ba'amiyas will become mashpiyah. And they will be mashpiyah into the neshama, his pilots and his kashas, and of course mamish alidei Ria Gashmi. You follow? And that's what he said. That's what we had just here. That he said that there's a mile in the inyan from Ria Chushiyas over Ria Seina Seichel. That's the mile that will occur to the neshama. So that's what we're trying to point out now. The tremendous chiddush that's going to happen with Yosid is that the neshama is going to come to inyonim, which are tachlis hamayla, from something which is not really heard. I know the guf and the nefesh ba'amiyas, and that's a chiddush gadol. But there's going to be netesa in the neshama such inyonim, which are only going to come inside the guf and the nefesh ba'amiyas, and she started off at the beginning being the whole teacher. She was the whole guide of the nefesh ba'amiyas, and in the end, she's going to be literally mekabel from their mila. Yeah, in the middle, there's going to be a tremendous change. That's called we want Moshiach now. You understand? I mean, the whole way to come to that is by acting and dealing with it in that way. Yeah, so it's a form that the nefesh of the keys is she's going to be like a form of mitalmidai Yosef Mekulam. Yeah, it's enachon, and it's taken brought down in Siddur that the inyan from Talmud Yosef Mekulam is a dogma of how the higher Ein Orich Madrege can be makabel dafke from the Tartaj Ein Orich alidei that he guides him and brings out the mila in him. And then there's a tremendous mila bo'er choizer, which is niteis of boy. Yeah, what Ein Chanami. It's a similar inyan to what's going to happen here over in a much higher oifen. Because over there it's inyan from Siklium. Yeah, over here it's in a inyan from Mamish Ria Samahud. So that's where we're holding. V'yal kein mizet davke u'pchinas hahelem shelamata, that we saw the davke through the inyan of that shir in Chochmas Timor, which is the Kisui La'atik, and that we saw that was the inyan from Chitzenis Chochmas Timor, but that was the inyan of how it comes down into the world. Dafke to be a mokir l'seichel of the Odom Lamata in Seichel Enushi is okay mizeh dafke hu b'chinas hahelem shelamata שעל ידי העבודה בהלם הזה בו הם לבחינס פנימיס ועצמס חוכמס דימור. Through the fact that we break that helem and the nefesh habamis and how she is lamata, she begins to be masig matzias alakus, and then she comes to a riyah through her chushim, not in rus alakus, or in matzias alakus. She comes to Ayin and show riyah and mispilot ki ilu roya, then that's poil in the nefesh alakis. An aliyah that even here lamata she has a toisefes in the union from riyah samahus. Although as we said that riyah is only riyah ein haseichel bentayim. So therefore he said that shalidei aveda behelam hazeh boim lufchinas pnimis v'atzmus chochmas timor v'zo shalidei amamutza de chochmas timor davke boim anishomes v'chein aner tzolim lebechina ho'elyena shebema mamutza. They come to the union from Pnimius Atik, or that's we saw that the Emes Abir in Pnimius Abba, who Pnimius Atik is in the union of Chochmas Timor Davke. So now we see the two sides, but those are the two Ayins. We started with Ayin Ba'ayin Yiru. There's the union of the Helem, which comes Mitzad Chitzonis Chochmas Timor, and that Helem is the Helem Mata, and Halidei with the Nefesh Alakis teaches the Nefesh Habamis to deal with that Helem and brings it to a point where he has Riyah Chushiyah in his inyan, which is Asogas HaMetzias Bilvad. Well, that causes a break in the whole block between him and the Pnimius, and he causes in the Nefesh Alakis the opening Kaviyot of her eyes, that she comes to a higher inyan than what she had in Gan Eden in Riyas Mahus, or it's all Riyas Ein HaSeichel. Of Al Chaponim Dafki, through that we come into the Tzada Elin Sheba Mamuta and Liyosid Love. It's all going to be Begolu Imamish, and there will be an inin of Riyas Amahus Beriyah Chushiyas. I feel in the Guf and Nefesh Habamis can Lamata Bezeh Ho'ilam. שלמעלה מבחינת ממות, where are we? ועל ידי זה בואים גם כן לבחינס עצמס אין סייף שלמעלה מבחינס ממוצא. And so the Rebbe says not only are you going to come to the Tzada Elyon Sheba Mamutza, that's the union of Pnimis Chochmas Timor Atik, Pnimis Atik, but you're going to come even higher. There'll then be an aliyah even l'mayla mizeh into atzmus ein seif shelamayla mibchinas mamutza. In other words, pshitas are the atzmus mamish even higher than the way he's mislabish in the mamutza. U'kemosh kosev v'lo yelamdu chulu ish es riyehu ki kulam yedu oisi, because all of them will have a iskashus pnimius in oisi mamish. Ukmoi, vayichu li, and it's one on the Zohar Kodesh teaches the word li as oisi atem eloichim. That through the inyan from Torah we also find a similar inyan, that you take kaviyochu atzmus ein seif through the inyan of Torah. Like the Gemara brings the famous Neutrikoin, that anoichi is ano nafshi nafshoi kasovish Yehovah is that I gave my very self in the union of Torah, and therefore vayichu li truma, or truma refers to Torah, kiyadua in the Zohar Kodesh, that you take through the union from Torah, oisi atem loichachim. Well, we see that oisi means atzmus ein seif mami. Well, that's the mile of Torah. Through Torah you can also come to atzmus, of a bentayim, that union is mavur. Become a Mekim is that even is still somewhat Helem in Torah. And they also said it'll be Mishgale. However, here, since the Etzem Mishkashrus will be in Oisi, that means the Madreg of Atzmas, then it won't be Shayat in if in Yalamdu Oid Yesri Eyo, because the inyan van Yelamdu is shaykh in Asoge. And I feel in Inyanim in Asoge, it's shaykh in van Yelamdu. But in Ria, it's not shaykh in van Limud. And therefore, the inyan of Moshiach will be to be mare, the inyan Elikus for Ria, Mamish, and therefore he won't really teach in the ordinary sense of in massive Ofanim. He will be Megala, the inyan of Etzem Alidei Ria Mamish. And we'll see in a few words further, maybe even higher than, if not better in a way, even than that. So therefore we see that the inyan of the Aliyah, Moshe Mashiach, will have an even further Aliyah that you go up Mamish into Atzmus Lamayla from the Mamotzer, and then you'll be taking Mamish Oisi. And I will bring a dogma from the Taich in the Zoya that Oisi means him. So, Amiti is Hadova Hazeh Hili Osi. That's going to be Lios. So we have to say that there's two inyanim, because it's mashma that the Aliyah in the Pnimi, in the Mamotza, the Aliyah in the Mamotza, in the Tzada Elyon, that's also Shad Liosi Be'ikak. That's even from Gilui Pnimi Sati. And like it's already been mashma here, and mashma at the end of the last chapter, that even in that it's Shaydin from Lo Yalamdo Oidis Esri Eyu, because of Mamish Pnimis Atik, and Pnimis Atik is got enough atzmas for the ordinary person. Therefore, we have to say that Liosid, they're like two Shlavim, like the Rebbe brings in famous Sikha, there are two Eifanim in Liosid. That there's the Etzem Giloi of Yemoisha Mashiach, the Etzem Giloi, and the Etzem, what you might call Shinui Otzem, which will occur on a day, Bias Mashiach, Tzidkenu, Etzem Ayin of the Geulah Shleima, and then there'll be, at Kufa, Le'achrim is called Tchiasa Ameisim. And I said, Mashvin Lazar, there'll be a Perik's man between the Etzem Iskalas of Mashiach and the infant Tchiasa Ameisim. Amamere, the later Inyan, that will be an even higher Inyan, that instead of being the Tada Elyon in the Mamutza, that will be an Aliyah Boy Bi'atzmus Imam. And therefore he teaches it that the Inyan from Oisi, what that means, Mamish the Eibusha Kamoisha Hu. And therefore he said, the Amit is Adova Zeh yearly Osid. And the Osid, we're going to see it's got itself different Oifanim. And that's what he's now Masbeh. He said, Va'inenu, the Hineksiv, it's written by Yosef. Very interesting also he brings in this pasuk here about Yosef. It's well known that Kama Ramazim in the works of the Rebbe Rashab on the Friedrich Rebbe, that every now and then he's maramas to how there's going to be dinim from Yosef, and you do it. The different passages in certain Maimorim, but they also start referring to Yosef, Ben Poiras Yosef. Why is this for them? In the Maimah from Tefillin, the Morei Alma, the famous Maimah about the Tefillin, on the Bar Mitzvah, the Friedrich Rebbe, right at the end, he's got a whole big arichos about Yosef. Tefillin Shel Yad is the Yin from Yosef. Tefillin Shel Rosh is the Yin from Yankiv. Dafka the Tefillin Shel Yad is the Ike, even though it doesn't appear to be the Yin Hagan, so he's like Yosef. Yosef is the Yin from Tefillin Shel Yad, and Dafka he's mamshich everything Lamata, even Tefillin Shel Yad is Shaykh Lamata, v'chulu. Ganzen arichos abirim is Yadua. And therefore, he said it's written, Ben Poiras Yosef. Ben Poiras Alei Ayin. Well, that's what Yaakov in his brachas, that's how he begins his bracha to Yosef. So the union from Poiras means the idea of Tiferes or Chaim. Rashi teaches it Chaim. And so does the Ramban, and others that they teach it from Russian, grace or Chaim, Matthias, grace in the eyes of the Bliyos, V'chulu. And if our Ben Poiras Yosef, he's going to be literally a Ben of Chain, and this Ben Poiras Ali Ayin, or this union of Tiferes or Poiras, is going to be Lamaila Mi Ayin. It's going to be Hecha from the Madrega of I, literally. So we're going to see that there's a Madrega from Poiras Yosef, and then there's Ali Ayin. You're higher than even Ayin. And that's going to be referring even to the Indian from Tchias HaMeisim. Umavur b'mokim acher the koi al zman yemoisamo shiach u'tchias HaMeisim. In other words, 2 periods. The Mashakos of Ben Peirus Yosef koi al zman yemoisamo shiach. That's the first step in the whole Isgalus of the Gula. Shiyeh b'chinas toisefes v'ribui oyer. Shalidei habirulim kanal. That will be through the Avedas Birulim Bezman Agola. Like we saw that the Birulim Achmim at Mamish at the end of the Zman Agolas, like it was Maram earlier, but that's the Aveda with the Guf and the Nefesh Apami is in the Teike for the Golas, but that's a Helem of Chochmas Timor, Hari Shaik Lamata. And that's a Ayin from Avedas Birulim, he called that Birulim because it was an Indian of Tchias HaChoshech Lagamri, and the Ayin from Girui Biz, the Ayin from Riyah Hushiyas. So that's a Ayin from Tashlum, as you might call it, a Habirulim. So that's going to cause a Ribui Aliyah in, or even a Vizkashas, as you might call it, in the Tzad Eliyah of the Mamutza. Ben Poidus Alei Ayin, Koi Alzman Tchias HaMeisim. Well, that's going to be an even higher Indian. The Ain Doimel Chol Itchias HaMeisim, like we say in the Filas on Shabbos. Ain Arek Lecho B'Olam Hazeh, V'Ain Zuloscho L'Lai Olam Habo. Efes Biltechol L'Mois HaMoshiach, V'Ain Doimel Chol Itchias HaMeisim. You remember that on the Filas of Shabbos? Or you guys still holding by the Madrega that every time you daven, it's new davening. So now it's Tefillah. You guys still holding by that, or you do remember from one time to the the old days? You don't remember? We used to joke about it. We used to joke about these guys. You'd also quote them a posse from the davening and say, "Wait a minute, where's that posse?" Then when they tell them from noise, "Oh, yours, maybe it isn't that." So we used to joke that they have a new davening every day. They don't remember the psukim from one day to the other. And I had Tefillah. Don't remember. And remember, you guys are holding you by Tchias HaMeisim. You don't even know where. It ain't Doimel Chol is Tchias HaMeisim. At the end of the first part of Bilchus Krishma on Shabbos, says the Rebbe, we're going to see that the Rebbe teaches that ain't Doimel Chol is Mamish Li'atzma saying. All we've been saying up to that, Ein Arech Lecho, B'Olam Hazeh, Ein Zuloscho, Afila Efes Biltecho is a high Madrega, but Ein Doimel Lecho means completely another Ein. Beklal ze lo boto Shori is beklal to be any dimoyen, and yet nonetheless, Yidden are going to make it. They're going to come up to that Madrega and be Mishkasher. And Mishchaber in that Indian, and therefore he says, Ein Doimel Cho. There's nothing Doimel Atzmus Cho in the Madrega of Tchias, or in the Zman of Tchias HaMeisim, he is Alo B'chinas Atzmus Mamish, not just in the Tzad Mamutza, or the alien of the Mamutza Chochmas Timor, but there'll be Misale Mamish into the Pshitas Atzma. V'hainu Alei Ayin. L'mayla gam mibchinas ayin be-ayin, even higher than the madrega of the second ayin. But that was the Ayin from Riyas Mahuz, even higher than Riyas Mahuz. So now we're going to ask, even higher than Riyas Mahuz. He said, L'yamois HaMashiach yeh ki ayin be-ayin, kanal, u'b'tchias HaMeisim yeh alei ayin. In other words, it will be another shlav altogether, which is going to be higher than Ayin. What you do is, here we're going to say that the Tzad Maila from the Zweite Ayin is Mamish Riyah Chushiyah. Even the Nefesh Elokis will benefit this Riyah Chushiyah. And of course, then Maya Tetov Mizeh. What could be better? We just saw the Maila of Riyah Chushiyah over Riyah's Ein Hasecho. You know, I say, Maya Choleot Yoter Elyon Mi. So he said, no, and Tchias HaMeisim, there's going to be a mile even over that. Wujidas. So he said, V'yesh loima inyan alei ayin hu inyan asoga. Hey, you guys wanted Chabad, so you got it. In other words, says the Rebbe, no, There's going to be Ayin from Liosid, Ayin from Asoga, which is going to be higher than Riyah Chushia in Mahus. It's going to be a higher in than Riyah Chushia in Mahus. It's going to be Asoga. Dafki Asoga. Yeah. If you ever see places in cities where the Rebbe Rashab plays down Asoga, which he does, quite a few places, he was only talking in Muslim. He was only talking for the sake of correcting people, getting them in the right gears and arranging things properly. The Rebbe Rashab held that Asoga is the Hetzlazah. And here we see that Liyosid Lore, after everything, after Riyah Chushi is, that doesn't fit him what he said before. Before he said that Riyah Chushi is much higher than Riyah Ayin HaSeichel. Riyah Ayin HaSeichel, that's another meaning. But here we're going to have Hasogas HaMahus. Hasoge manish in the clay Hasoge in Mahus Elakos bis Mahus Ha'atzmi. Your little cup is going to be massive. Oh yeah. Oh, the Rebbe Rashab said that even before all this. He said when he sits in his room and he locks himself away with L'Kuti Torah, and he feels the inner from the Yodati Vayizu. It's from the mouth. The Rebbe Rashab said it about L'Kuti Torah. He said when he locks himself in a room and he learns L'Kuti Torah, and he's magisch the inner from the Yodati Vayizu. Aber das ist magisch der Inner. Einmalig. There were certain people that were getting to that just for learning Siddur. Aber einmalig. Ilo Yodati Vayizu, Emes.
So isn't that in Tanya, don't you think that Arizal and Hasoga Samahus, but Moshe Rabbeinu Riyah Samahus, which is higher? In Tanya discusses that the Arizal, Hasoga Samahus, but Moshe Rabbeinu had Riyah Samahus, which is higher.
Things like that, don't state, but we're also going to meet something, that's the difference in Navua and Hasoga. What he says is that the Naviim, they always came to a certain year, but they had Riyah Samahus. They had Riyah, and that was Inu V'Nanovi. And the great Chachamim, as the Rashbi and the Arizal, they spoke about certain parts of him, harbe than what the Naviim saw. So he makes a difference. That's Riyah Samahus, and that's the Infan Hasoga to that. The Infan Hasoga. That's what he says. So but what he's going to say is that the Yosid Lova, those in Yonah are all going to be Asogas HaMahus. In other words, that the Moya Hagashmi is going to be Masig Asogas Mahus in Atzmasei. In Atzmasei. Who stays? And it's a Pele Nifla, and that's the Chiddush. And that's the Emeship Shat Chokha Modami Novi, because over there the author brings it, there's a mile and a Chokha over a Novi. But the Gemara Bava Basha, Chokha Modam Pnei Novi. What's a Chokha Berav Novi? Because he can talk about all sorts of Inon. He can talk about whatever you like, because he talks in Hasogas HaMetzias Bova. We will be Mechadish, that will be the infant Hasogas HaMahus Man. But that's it. And Amir, do come to it, it's a piddly dikizach alei adomes, that the highest Indian is that the mensch would be masig azivi a mensch, bumoichoi, and with all the years as a mensch, you'll be masig mahus, atzma saint safe, bahasoga, moichias man. It's a good, beautiful man. And Amir, we understand why the goof will stand up to Moishehu. The goof won't be a different goof. It'll be the same group. Because in that little mugbundika moya, and in that little mugbundika goof, and in that little mugbundika moya, the Abish wants to give it with its ability to understand. He wants to give it Atzma Saint. And that's the highest gift that he can possibly give it. It's higher and incomparable than Riyah Samahus. Unbelievable. That's how Philip played. One of the guys yesterday, a little bochum. We had a little kinestera yesterday, to me, it's a little kinestera. And the Levi, he was pilpering around about the Chiyas Amazing, and somehow or another he got onto the fact that the goof will stand up Duke it won't be any different. It won't be the same goof. This will be healed. The Eibus will heal it. The Eibus will bring it to, to a good life like it was in the middle of its lifetime. So I can stand up as an old reed with a walking stick. So I will go upon him with the same goof, and he was killed up mishkashib, with talking the same goof, make up shayna goof, it's an higher goof. Nah, because that's what the Eibus wants. He wants the same goof. It's on the same moyach, and their moyach het van hem. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to see that there's another diuk into this, that even all the organs, like they call the Eibus are equal, and things like that will also be there in the goof, even though ein achila ve'ein shtiya, ein olam haba, ein lo achila ve'loi shosiyah, and the skate of the olam atchiyah. What are you going to do all say for him for? What do you have and say, they're not going to be in you. Yeah. The Rebbe Rashab fragte die Kash. He taught in Ranat, I think it is. So he talks about Din from Chias Amazing. So the teretz is they won't really be used, but they will have to be there because Davke Al Yodom, we came to the holy. The idea what a Yid used his goof to serve the Eibus, and the goof helped him a lot. It gave him a lot of pneumistic in Yonim and Liosid in the first stage. It's going to give him the rear Chushiyas, and that was all because he worked with the Yonim Gashmim with goof. They'll be there like an everlasting remembrance. All the Eibus will be there because they're all part of it, and they'll all be zeichet to the Gilead Archmus. But the moyach will be zeichet to the Dover Haki Niflo, but the moyach will be Masi, the Inifanacho. That's what they state of. So let's go further. So we just try and see how we get along. So he says, that the Moshe Mashiach here, ki Ayin ba'ayin canal. Aber Chias Ameisim yeh alayin. Ve'esh lo yima inyan alei ayin. Hu inyana? So, by Mashkos of Ponim Yofis, I think the Kavana is, Pirush Alei Ayin, Al Der Chacham Odif Mi, Novi, beautiful, you thought that's the Shah that you asked, the Chacham Odif Mi Novi, the Ponim Yofis, that's the Baal Pinchas Baal Afloa. But he was the Alter Rebbe's Chava, he and the Reb Shmuel Shmelkis. But they were brothers, and they were the Alter Rebbe's Chaverim by the Magid. And it's put in the Akdoma to the Shulchan Aruch. They were big Geonim in Nigel Meon, it's unbelievable. And it's that they saw the first two parts of the Shulchan Aruch. So I'm just gesehen, the Tzav and the Alter Rebbe, Hilchus Tzitzes and the Pesach. Those are the first two parts of the Alter Rebbe. And it's put there in the Akdoma, the Mitzel Rebbe writes, V'hoi Yolei Neim Shel Shnei Achim HaKadosh. They said Achim HaKadosh bring the name. V'achutav be'ineihem ve'oid v'shivchu oisei ma'oid ma'oid. That these two parts of the Shulchan Aruch, the special berg. So the Pinchas Baal Afloa, he wrote a sefer on the Torah called Ponim Yofis. So often the Rebbeim quote him. They quote him. There's a simon that we see the Rebbeim like to mention every now and then. These great figures that they weren't mamish shot to Chassidus Chabad, but they had a kesher with the Rebbe and the Alter Rebbe. They were all part of the holy scholars.
What was the sacred word Ponim Yofis? What was it about? What was the subject of Ponim Yofis?
The Ponim Yofis is a sefer on the Torah. It's a pirush al Chacham. And it's B'derech HaNigla ve'apnim. It's called a Nigla, and it's also got pnimistic parts. He says that Ayin is al derech Chacham Odif Mi. No, that's mamish what we've been talking about. But Chacham Odom, Chacham Odif Mi Novi Liosid is going to be mamish. In the fourth Tanya, which you mentioned, it's only in the Inif, and he can get to the Zochin Yonim, what the Novi doesn't get, but only in Matziyah. And Lios, it's going to be Chacham Odif Mi Novi, that he's going to have. The Novi only had Riyas HaMahuz. He's going to have Azam Maila in Asoga, which is even higher than Riyas HaMahuz. It's got its own Maila in the soul in Asoga, in Etzem HaMahuz Elakus, and therefore Chacham is going to be Odif Mi Novi, a periodic Indian, was in the name of the Ponim Yofis. Tehine Asoga Di Achsho, Himchinas HaMetzias Lobo, the Mahuz Hadova, we don't have any Asogas HaMahuz, Klau, Ki Im Re'io, Yeah. The only way that you can be teifes, even from mahus nowadays, is only through riyah. Yeah, if you're zeicher, if you're given that tremendous gift, that you can have riyah samahu. Ukidu I have rish bein riyah shmir. Yeah, that the inner from riyah has a much more profound effect on the adam than the inner from shmir. If I remember hasoga nowadays is bedimin in a shmir, and riyah is bedimin in hariyah. The inner from riyah samahu. He said hasoga deliosid, meaning how it's going to be betchir samesim yadua shetia sogas hamahus mamish. In other words, it will be masig mahus in the brain, mamish in the koach hasoga. When he brings gibukul the raya, okemoi veyovin kol yitzur kiato yitzaltoi. Yeah, it's in the Musaf of Rosh Hashanah. Well, wait a minute. It's in the Shachas also. Anyway, it's in the Shemoneh Esrei of Rosh Hashanah. I think it's in Shachas also. Yeah, it's just before the end of the main bracha. V'yovin kol yitzur ki yato yitzartoi. V'yovin dafke. In other words, that even kol yitzur, even the poshet madrigas lamata in the meaning of yitzira kipshutei, or they will understand. Yeah, ki ato. What ato means, atmas. They will understand how their whole being is only you. V'yovin dafke b'finas hasoge. V'asoge tia ki ato yotate b'finas hamahus. What ato means the very essence of the Eibishter, yeah, himself. And you know the famous story, the Alter Rebbe, you know the famous mass was Sivan. What the Maggid wanted the Alter Rebbe should be on the bima with him when he blew shofar. They went through stages. First of all, he thought the Alter was going to blow shofar. And the Alter Rebbe got out of him a whole series of giluim, and then he said, I'm told, I don't know how to blow the shofar. They said, you know, you guys know the mass. And then the Achim became that at least the Maggid wanted that he should be on the bima together with him when it was an infant Kiyas shofar. And comes to the time of the Kiyas shofar, and the Maggid looked around, he didn't see the Alter Rebbe, so he said, who is Zalman you? Where for? So I don't know. So I think it was Rav Zusha or somebody saw that the Maggid wanted the Alter Rebbe, so he burned down to a side room. He knew where the Alter Rebbe was hiding. And in the side room, the Alter Rebbe was davening with the stender. You know, the famous, the house of the Alter Rebbe, what he's done with. He said, done with the stender. This is from them. Anyway, the Alter Rebbe, and he's flat out on the floor, the Alter Rebbe. Flat out on the floor, over the stender. The stender's underneath him, and he's sort of prostrated on top of the stender, and he's flat out. So, this tasteless, this is, wow, the Maggid's calling him to the bima at that time. You know, he's in a Zamatzah, was he took them, you know, Mausim. So all of a sudden he got the bright idea, and he walked up to the Alter Rebbe's ear, and he bent down, and he said, the Rebbe Ruftich. He said, the Rebbe is calling you. He said it into the Alter Rebbe's ear. Boing! All of a sudden, like an electric shock, the Alter Rebbe shot up, you know, like Superman, and he just burnt this tremendous, he left a position behind, and he just burnt this tremendous, burned out path up to the beam, and the next thing he's standing on the beam, shaking. So later, after the whole tefillah and all the whole thing, somebody said, I think it was Rav Zuzi, he said, what were you doing? You were laying on top of the stender. What's the tikkun? What happened? You know? So the Alter Rebbe said, I came to the pasuk, Yovin kol yitzur, ki ato yitzur. He said, ato yitzur. Bin ich weggefallen. He said, there you guys. The Alter Rebbe was an unbelievable Balish pilot as well, you know. The Venetian pilots really meant something. It was very real. And whenever the Alter Rebbe was in his pilots, something happened, you know. Anyway, the V'yesh Laimar says the Rebbe was at a pshat from them. The Hinei Chachmo Bina Shneihem Mekoyrim Mechinas Chachmo Stimor Kanayda. Yeah, Chachmo Stimor, like we said, was the Mokev Chachmo Hallelujah, and the Chitzonius of Chachmo Stimor Mamish is a Shait to Asoge, and that's what he Shait to Bina. מבחינת חיצייניס חוכמס דמורה, הוא שהסוגה הוא מבחינת מציאס לבד. The חיצייניס led to our chokmah beings we have them now, kaviyog, which is the union of Torah Matias Leva. Barachria, he begins Mahus. Somebody who's Zeichet, and even from Re'ia, then he has Re'ia Sama. Yeah, he's Zeichet to Re'ia Samahus. Always a begins Pneumius Chochmas Timor, or even from Pneumius Chochmas, that's even from Pneumius Atik Mamish. And once you get higher than that, you're in Mamish Atma Saint Say. He said, Shom Gama Soge, he begins Atmas Hosa Adova. In other words, mitzad the Koech Atzmas, then everything's possible. In other words, the dimension becomes Ad Kedi Kach Ashutav, like Kodesh Baruch Hu, by separations, that he becomes mamish one Indian with the Eibishter, that he's able, as he is a mensch, in the Koeches Ha'enushi of the Ein of the Moyach, to be massig and to take Atzmas in the Moyach. So, viele Leute es ist nichts verstehen da. Warum ihn will, but it's not. So he said, he begins Atzmas and Mahusa, Hador, till the Yeshe beclosed, begins Pnimis, Chochmas Timor, who begins Atzmas Dova. It's a union from the very essence of the thing, Atzmas Dova. Very amazing expression. In other words, you name it, we got it. Whatever Dova you're dealing with, then in the Tzad Pnimi from the Memutza, then it's Atzmas Dova. He said, Gam HaSoga Dishom, he begins HaSoga Sama. If there's any asoga over there, it's only asoga in everything over there is only called dover. You name it, that's all mandatory atzmas. Yeah? If there's going to be a soga up there, and the Eivisha allows there to be a soga up there, then that's a soga in the Indian Kemoishahu, Dahainu, Mahu. That affair is pretty pleased. But actually, Ayin anu yodim eichu asogas samahus. We can't really appreciate asogas samahus. Afilu in dvarim pshutim, we don't have asogas samahus. Ki yeh b'chinas is chadches. So that whole inyan of being masig amahus in the moyach hagashmi, to be masig mahus ezi inyan sheyeh. Alachas kama v'kama elakus. Alachas kama v'kama atzmiyas elakus. He said, that's going to be Ay's Hajjaz. Ayin, I'll give a quick this. So he says, how are we going to know what it's like? We're ordinary guys. How are we going to know what it's like? I mean, other people like the Rizal, they're already holding Kamat by that now. They're holding by Riyas Ein HaSeichel B'Mahuz. Or really big Oiv de Havaya, great Tzadikim. Yeah, they can, over the ordinary man, how does he have any ability to picture in his mind what this is going to be like? So therefore the Rebbe says, we don't have anything. It's going to be a complete ischadshas. Right. However, he said there is what you might call a shmek tabik. There is a certain taste of it. And he said, Rak me ain shiur b'zeh. It's a sort of, it's like a form of a tziyur that we can have in this idea. Yochel liyesh me'in and asoga mukshias shenis bur liyil. Now, asoga mukshias shenis bur liyil was what we saw in the Nefesh Abamis and the Guf, that they can have asoga mukshias in Matiyah. So he said that's like a form of a tziyur, of some picture you saw what's going to be likely outside, because the whole inyan becomes tremendously real to him as if he was seeing it. But he's not really seeing it. He's seeing what he sees, but he's understanding what he sees, and then what's killer that what he's seeing is what he understands. But it's not really. He's seeing things that they are miyames. That was the lesson. They are miyames what he understands. They make emes what he understands. Of all upon him, it comes to Islam, he said that that's the sort of thing that a inverted commas normal mensch can come to. Das can he come. That he can, by examining inyanim in the world and looking at the poshet inyanim, how they are in the world and the Seder and the Nivroim, it's possible for him to actually see these inyanim, how and what they tell you. You can sort of see it, and that's what Mahei Megalim Yeah, and you can see that. That's a shiur of upon him and a door even rochik. The liosid. That's how we're going to see Elikus. Why is it only a shiur bilvad? It's not really the inyan k'moishu. Because liosid, we're not just going to be assisted and brought into a kesher with what we understand. We're going to actually see Ma'ud Mami. I'm sorry, we're not just see it, we're going to be masik, slicha. We're going to be masik, mamish, the inyan of Mahud. He said, V'zo alei Ayin. Well, that is the inyan of even higher than Ayin. Ki yesh maila ba'asoga ala hariyah. Before he said, no, real kush is saying, no, real zayin aseichel. Now he said, oh, ba'asoga, emes ha'asoga, well, that's the maila, ain't alright, real kush here. Wow. In other words, for that moyach agashmi, for the guf agashmi to be mamish masik mahus elokos, ein lamala mizeh. Ein, yeah, and so we're going to see from words, because sof kosov, hasoge, yeah, if it's in mahus, then hasoge is ki, as the expression now, kemuna tukusa. It's in infant fisa, how the guf gashmi, aiva, the brain is an aiva. And the brain is, they call the brain as the Eva Gashmi, is teifes and miyachad in itself. Inif and mamish, mahus elokus, mahus atzmus, ein l'mayla mizeh. Because when the eye sees it, like that type of tfisa, it's only a kilo, a spilas as I see something of it that it's been mamish misyachid with the Eva Gashmi, doesn't have kinasov. That's how Philip is from us. He talked about Chabad Hasoga. So he said, yeah, oh why? Yesh Meiler Hasoga al Hariyah. Shehi Bepinas Tfisa Bepnimius Yesha Mihariyah. That's as I word. That Emes Hasoga is Tfisa. And that's what the Alter Rebbe is Maramed. In Perikei, in Tanya, they've turned out the word tfisa. The Alter Rebbe shows how the inyan of tfisa, yeah, leish machshova tfisa bay, yeah, the inyan of tfisa. So the Rebbe is that nowadays leish machshova tfisa, over liosid, yo machshova tfisa, and that's what he's murdered at the mile of tfisa. Yeah, how the brain, yeah, takes in such a way that it's makifu mukaf, and he says, "Yichud what ein yichud k'moizeh." That's what he writes in Perek. Ein yichud k'moizeh lo nimtzu begashmius klal. That's right, the Alter Rebbe. Nimtzu, that type of tfisa is now leish machshava tfisa. Over liosid yo machshava tfisa. Remember, all those milas of tfisa are going to be in machusa atzma. כאשר הסוגיה היא רק בבחינת מציאות לבד, הרי מכל מוקים הרביע שהיא במהוס הדובו, הרי זה למעלה מהסוגיה. All the way that you're talking about a sogya in Matthias versus a Riyah, which is out to be teifus the mahus of in that Einochanem is a mile in Riyah Samahus. Akasher gama sogya tia b'mahus adova tia la mile b'bchin savi. V'zeo alei ayin la mile b'bchin savi. Very. Zeh politics.
Maybe you can say that if it's not asoga in ma'usa davar, then it can change after you masik something else. It can somehow you miss masik it, or you can come close to it or come far from it.
Even you can be masik deeper and deeper as you go along.
No, I mean sometimes even if you masik something and it kind of goes away after a while, maybe it happens if you're not masking ma'us, but it's mitzis, but. I understood if you masik maus, it doesn't change.
Well, in a way, Riyah also has that mila a little bit. Yeah, but that's a kavanah that will be so doubled. It will only be shaykh, used to vekas. And there's a remnant to that once you get to atzmas, you just get to everything. I mean, atzmas is everything. So I mean, you're not going to stop. You're just going to be going higher and higher. Yeah, because the pshitas of the atzmas is doirish, toivea be'atzma is kolein. There's just ain't possible. There's no gvul, cloud, to how far you can go once you get to that. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The whole Indian is a mile so Kashagama Soga Tiba Mahus. Ja, Tier, la Mile Mukin Saria. So, alle Einamente, so, hier betrifft am meisten. Ja, der ein Däumele, ho. Mamish lecho be'atzmus, but ein Däume. There's absolutely no way, any comparison. In other words, in Mahus, there's never been anything like that. That's another Bechina altogether, and that unites us with Mahus licho, Mamish with lecho. And he said, that's written in that figure, that one is that going to be Litriasa Hamazim. That'll definitely be in the final Slav, as you might call it, of the whole Toitzah of the Geula. Meshikosu v'nichye lefonov mamish. What is a pasuk in Hosea? Yichayenu miyoymayim ba'yem hashlishi nichye lefonov. And it's interesting, even Rashi learns over there that the Yichayenu miyoymayim is referring to the two Batei Migdosh. And there's Ayin von Churban, Ayin von Hefsek. Be'yem hashlishi is referring to the Beis Hamikdash hashlishi. Yikimenu, we will stand us up. V'nichel lefanov, and we will live kilo lefanov l'lo yefsik shelei achrim. Chas v'sholom. Over here we're taish. V'nichel lefanov in pnimis v'atzmas ein sof will be the highest kipshutei of the other magash. So I have to see something I got tomorrow with the Bochum. Pretty amazing stuff, eh? So I mean, we've begun through this Maimah, and we've seen these unbelievable views of the whole situation. Everything changed. We've been living the whole time that really it's the Geula. Everything Chokmastib is Mamish Atzmus. It's the Mamuta, but it's not two Madrigas, it's just what it is. It's just how it appears to you. And yeah, if you get through that, then you just keep getting into Atzmus. However, eventually it's going to be Hasoga Samahus in Atzmus with the Moicha Gashmi Kamoishu. It's Kain Tiolano, the Pearl Mamish. You remember, now we can understand why the Rebbe says, what are we waiting for? You see, it depends what sort of chips you're playing for, What are the stakes? And if the stakes are this, it's he's a pastor would say, oh no, the Golas is good, are you crazy? Come out into the Gula. That's what the Rebbe said, no matter how much heseg you might be masig. Nothing like what you have to be masig for the Gula Slavim. Good. Alright guys, have a good evening. And the Rikhi Yechel Melech HaMoshiach.